Hi everybody, welcome back. Happy April. I thought I would hop on here to show you a Q1-ish flip through in my plotter so far. So I got my plotter in February of this year, and it was to replace my daily logs as well as my planning that I was doing in two separate books. I was in the Hobonichi Techo A6 for my daily log and memory keeping, and I was also in a Hobonichi Weeks for planning. I've taken those two books and condensed it to this one system, and I just thought I'd do a flip through of my archives so far. So I'm using my plotter right now. It looks like my dailies, I can fit half a month of dailies in here at a given time because everything else in my plotter is like evergreen section. So for instance, my monthlies are going to be my monthlies. Like they're there, they're not going anywhere. And then I'll show you how much my dailies are taking up right now. This section right here are my dailies. And then the rest of this are just like my evergreen sections right here. So that portion right here is usually the portion that I take out once it starts to get full. And I have been archiving my dailies in this super temporary space. So I got this idea from Lindsay Scribbles. She just got this personal side PVC binder. It's like super affordable, $6.99 on Amazon. And yeah, like because this is 11mm rings, I can't fit all of I stuff my plotter, cannot fit a lot in there, in a good way, because this is the max cap of what I would feel comfortable walking around with anyways, because I throw it in my purse, I throw it in my backpack when I leave the house. So anyways, just thought I would do a chatty flip through with y'all to see how like the past couple months have been going in my plotter. And as I mentioned, I started my plotter mid-February, so that's why it's a Q1-ish flip through. So without further ado, let's go ahead and flip through. I've been having a lot of fun creating dashboards, if you will. I don't know. These are my sketches. So I have a Moleskine sketchbook, and I had this fun idea of cutting out my sketches that I really liked and just putting them in my plotter. For example, right now, I have this this gouache painting of lilacs, and it's giving spring, so it's like my temporary dashboard, if you will. But also it's super exciting because I actually have one place I can go to like see everything that was going on in my life. I found that it was like a little sad to have all my sketches just in my sketchbook because I didn't reference it often. And I was like, why not put them in your plotter? So that's what I started doing. And then it kind of was nice because it kind of shows me like what I was interested in at a given time. So I have really been into spring. So this is a painting of some spring blooms that I caught at my local, just like a local park. And shout out to ADH Dunn. Her name is Kim, and her handle is ADH Dunn, I think. I'll put it in below. She recommended these Avery file tabs right here, which is like a sticker essentially, and you can hole punch the dividers and not have to hole punch like the original document that you want to put in. So I've been using it a lot for my Polaroids and now for my sketchbooks. So in my daily section, I typically like to have some type of like a dashboard, like a vision board, just something to kind of indicate to me what I want to be focusing on. And I like to do like a word of the season. I find that my emotions and just my thought process in general is very seasonal. So for winter, my word of the season was reflect, which is why I have a Polaroid here of a photo I took in Colorado, as well as the word reflect, just to remind me. In February, I was definitely focused on just like my mental health. So I decided to do a yoga challenge and just take my time with it to just really set me up for success with my mental health. So I have that recognized here, and I finished this challenge in February. And this is I do a vision board for the month. Like every month I come up with a vision board just to like, what do I want to focus on that month? And I have a mantra. So my mantra for the month of February was protect your peace. And just here's some visual indicators of what I wanted to be focusing on. This is my first plotter entry ever in my daily logs. This was super fun. It was when I went to the California Pen Show with my good friend, Stacy, and that is where we picked up our plotters, which was really exciting. And we also went to lunch after that, which was a super good time. The next day, it looks like I went to San Clemente Beach with my husband. I took this day off because it was our 12-year dating anniversary. Even though we're married now, I still recognize that anniversary because it's just a special time for us. So I took that day off and we ended up going to San Clemente. That's a local beach near us where it has like a hiking trail. Like one of our favorite local coffee shops is there. It's a good time. And this was, I was going through like a stair phase. Like I loved the stairs that were along the hike. So I guess I felt compelled to paint a set of stairs that we experienced in San Clemente. This is what like a typical day looks like for me. Like I try to put all my habits here. So sorry, not my habits. There are some habits that I want to make sure I like hit every day. And a big part of that is like putting it a part of my to-do list. So for example, juicing, lemon water, I do seed cycling for those who are familiar with seed cycling, just to promote hormone balance. And I use it truly like a bullet journal where I'll put like main events. So that was my aunt's birthday, and then things I need to do. And then I use the rest for like whatever I feel like doing. So here I felt like talking about how I was having a good time in Plotter, and there's some stickers in there. More or less the same in terms of how I was using the plotter. What I found is that before I had like specific books for specific things. So I had a reading journal, I had a memory keeping journal, I had a Dear Diary journal, and then had a daily log. It was a lot of books. And what I find with the plotter system is that I like combining everything into one. And because it's a modular system and I can take those pages out and put new pages in to like prevent bulking, I just find that it's like a more organic way for me personally to look back on like the archives. So here's an example of like, oh, I finished this book and I just did a quick rating. I used to love the idea of having all of my book information in one journal. I still keep up with my reading journal just because it's nice to have like at a glance just reading, because I already had created the spreads and I do enjoy updating that when I have time. But I think this is just more meaningful to me when I'm reflecting back on how was February. Like I'm excited to like look back at February as a whole to see what I was up to, and I love seeing that I had finished this book. This is where I started being more artistic, creative in the plotters. I wanted to like test out the DP paper, which is phenomenal, by the way, by far one of my favorite papers on the market. It just handles everything so well. The fountain pen experience, the gel pen experience. This is my Tombow Fudenosuke pen along with some Tombow dual brush markers, and like super, like there's a little bit of ghosting, but it's really thin paper, so it makes sense. But I love how creative I feel in this space. You'll definitely see the uptick in sketching and drawing throughout the daily logs. This is when my poor pup Chloe had a UTI, and it was a whole situation, so I was feeling very drained. These stickers are from the Coffee Monsters Co. I am so into her little emoji stickers, and I'm having a really good time. Like, putting that sticker in is just like a really good representation of how you're feeling, and I love that. Yeah, this is usually what a weekend looks like, which is like meal prepping. I usually go to the farmer's market, get some coffee from a local coffee shop, and that day I decided to pick up like a chagachino mix, so save that because it was very delicious. Experimenting with some Korean chewy noodles that I picked up from H Mart. Super tasty, but I don't think my stomach agreed with this so much, which is okay. This is me just doodling about how proud I was of finishing the yoga challenge. Fun fact, I did try to do that 30-day yoga challenge last year and I just didn't finish it. And I think a lot of it was because I was putting too much pressure on myself to do it every single day and I was burning out. Versus this time around, I just told myself, it's a 30-day challenge. I can get it done whenever I want. And just me journaling about how proud I felt about creating a sustainable practice versus just wanting to do something to get something done. So as you can see, the Coffee Monster Co. stickers show up again, and you'll also see that I went through like a Coffee Monsters Co. phase on YouTube. I love to have a YouTube video up while I'm journaling. It makes me feel like I'm hanging out with someone, and like I think December through January was Petite Gloom, Megan Rhiannon all the way. And like right now, currently still is Coffee Monsters Co. I've just been binging all of her videos and she's so sweet. Helen is very sweet and it's just like a very sweet time to have her on the background. Yep, just memory keeping, going to dinner with a friend. And now we're on to March. So this was my dashboard for March for vision boarding, and my word for March was learning how to respond versus react. And I always like to have like little mantras here: ask, believe, receive. I'm really big into manifesting, and I just like having those cues and indicators to remind myself that if you ask and you believe and open yourself up to receiving, you likely will receive it. So just a quick journal entry on March. Just, normally I'm not really into spring, but this year I'm having a moment with spring and just really enjoying the weather, the flowers, the atmosphere. Just having a really good time in spring. This is where I started getting more doodle forward in my journals, and definitely you can tell it's because I was inspired by Coffee Monsters Coach. I think she doodles like almost daily, and so I was like, I want to do that, but in a cute memory and productive way. I don't know, I just thought I would just incorporate in my daily logs. So this is my sketch of a cheesy jalapeno bagel. I decided to write down a recipe for a maple sweet cream oat milk latte that I made. And these are just some sketches of some flowers. If you happen to have any interest in watching my videos or recognizing any of my feeds on Instagram, I am obsessed with this little area called San Juan Capistrano because my favorite local coffee shop, Hidden House, is located there. I try to go there at least once a week. I work from home, so every Friday I try to do like an admin day on Friday where I just have heads down time, enjoy a cup of coffee, and during my lunch break I'll do some cafe journaling. But I'll even try to go again on Saturday with my husband for like a cute little date day. But they have this butterfly sanctuary, and it's like my favorite place ever next to the coffee shop because I just love seeing the flowers bloom over the different seasons. Like, it looks so different through every season right now, and I just love capturing that. It's having a good time. Here is saving some ephemera from a purchase that I made from Suzanne, and me doodling the Canva. I finally took the plunge and got a more reliable tripod because I've really been leaning into the joy of just creating content, and game changer. I wish I'd gotten it a long time ago. Just more or less the same. This is me brainstorming the pros and cons of getting a iPad Air, and I did end up getting it. really grateful that I was able to do that. Lunch with Stacy. I have a daily rip-off calendar that sometimes I use as ephemera. That's what I did here. Like, there are just some days where like I'm just not feeling it. And that's why I love Plotter, because it's a very reasonable size where I for sure need this space for a daily log for productivity and just reminding me of events that are happening that day. But sometimes like I just don't care to journal, and that's what it looks like when I don't care to journal, and that's totally okay. Here is where I discovered these little Avery index tabs to be able to put my Polaroids in, or just like any type of like document that I don't want to hole punch, but I want to live in my rings. So you're going to see a lot more of these. But we had like a journaling date day with a couple of friends in Long Beach. That was spectacular. And this was a doodle fail, but that's okay. That's life sometimes. I was trying to doodle some biscottis that I made, which were delicious. They were white chocolate, cranberry, walnut biscottis. And it was plant-based. However, it was 100% leaning more towards cookie than it was biscotti, but that was okay because it was still, we annihilated them, my husband and I. It was still delicious, but I still need to perfect this recipe so it comes off as more biscotti and less cookie. Some washi tape that I got from a friend. Some like bread. This was when I was experimenting with some bread. I love baking sourdough, but I have to be in the mood to do it. And I think I was experimenting with using spelt flour instead of just normal bread flour. So that I don't know. I like doing these micro experiments and just capturing it somewhere and then stumbling upon that experiment when I'm doing things like this, like flipping through to see what was going on that month. So that was pretty cool. I just said cool. I meant to say cool. So this is just like some more doodling that I've been doing. And again, I'm back at San Clemente. And I call it our San Clemente circuit. We go to San Clemente almost every Saturday to do the beach walk trail. And then we usually stop to get coffee at Bear Coast Coffee. Sometimes we go to our local cafe, Jador Cafe. But I was just so transfixed by these blooms. Like how so yellow with like the blue background in the sky. This picture does not do it justice, but spring was just in full bloom in San Clemente, which was awesome. And yeah, sometimes like I'll divert from the daily log, structure, and I'll just turn it into like a full-blown memory keeping moment. And I love that. Like I just literally do like kind of whatever I want sometimes in the daily sections. Like obviously there's a structure. I have my bullet journal method, light memory keeping. But yeah, there's some days where I'm like, I can do as many pages as I want because this isn't dated. And if I feel compelled, I'm going to do a journal entry, which is what I did here. So this was a really fun day because it was the first time I took out my plotter. I usually bring my traveler's notebook to sketch, but as I mentioned, like I just had a desire to have more of my sketches in my daily log. So that's why I decided to bring my plotter with me and just like do what I would normally do in my traveler's notebook. And it totally worked out because I think I love how this journal entry turned out. And yeah, I got a stamp from Bear Coast. My husband is so sweet. He was like, they have stamps. You should ask him to stamp your journal. So that was really cute that he like kind of is looking out for me in that way. And, I dried some flowers that had already fallen off. Like disclaimer and like kind of like public announcement, please don't pick flowers if they have not fallen off. Like I don't know, I'm not a botanist, but I'm just like, leave the flowers, just pick them up if they've fallen, like you don't need to pick a new one, it's still living its life. So these flowers had like, I collect foliage just to like kind of give more of an essence of what I was feeling that day. And like right now I'm just in like a major flower power moment. So I just decided to dedicate a little spread to the flowers of San Clemente. And this is an arrow leaf balsam root. I can't even say what I wrote. And then this is a lemon clover. I love these flowers. So as a kid, I used to like pick them and then chew on the stems because they're super sour. They kind of taste like sour Skittles. And fun fact, these grow where you'll find clover bunches, like 4-leaf clovers, 3-leaf clovers. This is the flower of the clover plant. So fun fact, if you didn't know that. And these flowers are just everywhere on the San Clemente Trail. It is so beautiful. This is where I start entering like my pastel spring vibes, where I'm like, it's giving Bridgerton for sure. So I had stumbled upon a used bookstore when we were in San Clemente, and I got a really awesome Van Gogh art book for like $8. And Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists. I'm really into the Impressionist movement, and I've been studying his paintings because the book is huge. I don't have the dimensions, but it's ginormous, and an excellent photo quality. So I'm able to like study his strokes and just to get a gauge of like his layering and his technique. And what I've been doing is studying his work and trying to replicate it. So this is me trying to replicate Pink Peach Tree and Blossoms on my sketchbook. Do not let this fool you. This took me forever. Like, I thought, wow, this is going to be like a quick gouache sketch. I had to do this over a couple of days because the background itself, I felt like had so many layers and so many colors, and like there was just a ton of like dancing back and forth between light and shadow and color. It was a really fun time, but like what I'm learning with gouache studies and just like studying art in general is that sometimes things take a long time, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to like do a painting in one day, which is kind of my previous mentality. It's like, you'll get it done when you get it done. And if it takes you a couple of weeks, it takes you a couple of weeks. This took me a couple of days, but it was a really fun time. So that's like my side hobby, along with journaling, is practicing gouache and watercolor as well. This is a picture that I took from the farmer's market. I did a solo farmer's market run that day because my husband was just not feeling well. And I stumbled upon these lovely hydrangeas and the summer cup, which I grabbed the summer cup, spring summer strawberry cup from my local coffee shop. Obsessed with this. And yeah, decided to doodle some hydrangeas because I was having a moment with those flowers. Hydrangeas are one of my favorite flowers, so I'm really excited to have them. Yeah, just decided that awaken was going to be my word of the spring season. Like my body, like around this time my body was like, it is spring. So what are you going to lean into for spring? And I just felt like I just woke up from this slumber, and so awaken is my word. So I'm like more in tuned, mind, body, and spirit, focusing on my self-care, focusing on grounding myself, and just like waking up to my true authentic self. So put that in there to recognize that. Yeah, sometimes I'll just randomly call out like what I'm doing that's interesting. So I was doing like a 7-day yoga series, which was great. More experiment with bread and more chasing of blooms. I am just chasing flowers this past month. So these blooms are from San Juan Capistrano, and this photo is what this painting or this sketch was based off of. So more or less, that's what I was trying to do. Bougainvilleas, I think is how they're pronounced. It's like also one of my favorite flowers. I'm sure you're like, it's your favorite flower. Why can't you pronounce it? I just struggle with pronouncing things in general. So love I think it's bougainvilleas or villias. Again, another mention, another day, another Saturday, another day at San Clemente Beach. We love San Clemente. It's just one of our favorite places. And this was like a lovely day because my company had given us Friday off as Employee Appreciation Day. So I specifically wanted to bring my traveler's notebook to study. Like I wanted to go look at specific flowers and specific scenes, study them and sketch them live. So that's what I did that day, and I was able to capture this like very adorable photo of my TN with the palm trees in the background. It was a really good time. This is surprisingly like one of my favorite spreads, and it was so random because I some of these you can tell I take great care in like trying to create a specific spread. Like this, for example, I felt like I had like a certain energy, like a certain vibe I was trying to go for. Like I was planning it out. I was thinking about the colors. This, I was just like free forming it. So I had like, there was like a beautiful sunset in our neighborhood, and I was like, I just gotten all these Tombow dual brush pen markers, and I was like, why not try to color the sunset? Which was surprisingly really hard to do, because I'm used to being able to like blend really easily, and I know you can blend the Tombow dual brush pens, so that's what I tried doing, was like coloring things in with the colors that I had, blending it in, using white gel pen to kind of just create more highlight. And at first I thought it was a wreck, but then I was like, this actually looks really nice. So one of those random doodles that turned out to be one of my more favorite spreads. This week from the farmer's market, I picked up tulips, felt compelled to sketch those tulips, and I just really liked how this colorway tied in together with my washi, with my stickers. Like, I don't know, this was a good time. This spread makes me super happy. I think I was just going through some harder days, so just reminding myself that the only thing constant in life is change, just to help me adapt. And I can always tell when I'm having a little bit of Saturdays, because I'm doing like these like little mantras and these little affirmations. But rather than feeling like sad about it, and when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, look at you trying to do things to get through the day, like, good for you. I don't know, I like being able to see that in these pages to get a sense of how I was feeling. More hydrangea doodling. I had just picked up some new colored pencils, so just trying to figure out how to use that medium in my day-to-day lives. I'm back in San Juan Capistrano again. Basically, a lot of this is like I'm either in San Juan Capistrano or San Clemente. But I was really transfixed by these. I know I spelled this wrong. They're camellias. There should be an I here, but it is what it is. I was at Hidden House Coffee, and I had this beautiful view of the camellias right in front of me. So I just took a picture of it to remember that, because I love these flowers. Had some lunch and caught up with friends and just doodled the cocktails that we shared. This is me practicing doodling wisteria, because I knew I was gonna be on the hunt to try to find some wisteria to draw live. So whenever I know I have like a desire to draw something, I do study it. Like, I do go online, take a look at pictures, I look at YouTube videos, just to get a sense of like, okay, what's their process? Do they focus on shapes? What colors do they use? What tips and tricks do they have? And then it just gives me more confidence to like sit down and actually like start drawing. Because I find that I'm really hard on myself, like when I just try to draw organically. So when I have a little bit of like training wheels of like help from other people, it kind of helps me focus on what I want to draw. So that's a tip I have for anyone that wants to get into drawing and doodling. If like you don't know how to draw it naturally, like based off a still or based off an object in front of you, just like Google how someone else would draw it and then try to mimic them, and then just like play around and make it your own style would be my recommendation. But yeah, I had just finished a book. And then I started a new book because Bridgerton season is among us, y'all. I'm so excited. So I am rereading a couple of the Bridgerton series just to get into that cute, I'm calling it pastel romance vibes, which is, I don't think is a thing, but I'm making it a thing because I'm just into pastels and romance right now. And then because I had one page blank, I just decided to doodle the French lilacs using my Tombow Fudenosuke and my Tombow dual brush pen, and I tried doing some blending with it with my brush. This right here in my project managers are like my archives of health and finance stuff, which is private, but I do love being able to have these little sections for it, because I don't often refer back to this, but it's nice to have it when I need it. So I just have it tucked away here. The main point of the archive is the dailies, and yeah, I absolutely love it. That's it for now. I am getting pretty stuffed in here, so I'm probably going to migrate half of April in here, and then just leave room for, the rest of April to be documented in my plotter. But yeah, this is just how things have been going. Q1 in my plotter, wanting to share it with you all. I hope you all are doing okay and are just, leaning into what sparks joy and taking care of yourself. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.